Right. We just need to talk about a few things. Listen, mate, I've been scouting the good old YouTube over the past, 12 to however many hours since the Midtjylland game, and people are very mixed. Liverpool fans in general are very mixed, and in my free time when I get a minute, I like to scout other Liverpool YouTube channels like what I am and try and pick out a few different opinions, a variety of opinions, because that's what I like to do. I like to listen to your opinions, I like to listen to other YouTubers, and then I'll kind of grab all of these and I'll bring it all into one ball and I'll make up my own sort of opinion and conclusion, because that's how opinions and conclusions work. But I'm very surprised to see how much of a mixed reaction this particular thing has got. And obviously, as you know by the title of this video, I'm talking about whether or not Klopp got it wrong against Midtjylland. And we're not talking about the result, we're talking about many different factors that come into it. Obviously, we know we've had an injury crisis recently, and let's just say I don't think that was the weakest lineup that he could have gone with. But I'm going to talk about what I thought about, the lineup and the choice of players that Jurgen Klopp went with in a bit. First off, I want to talk about, because sometimes, I watch, like I said, I watched other YouTube channels, so I watch Coppers quite a lot. I sometimes, from time to time, watch Craig from the Anfield Agenda, obviously Redmond TV as well. Not the Cop TV, because I'm on there all the time, but I'm always there, scouting there a bit, thereabouts. I'm always engaging with Liverpool fans, and I'm always gathering opinions. And listen, even though I don't think anyone should be angry about the result that took place yesterday, because just under the circumstances, that's not a bad result. Away from home, against Midtjylland, in the Champions League, it's a much bigger game than it is for us. That's their last ever game in the Champions League for God knows how long, and we're not even starting our strongest team. If we start our strongest team away from home against Midtjylland, it's still a tough game. We should win it, but it's still a tough game. So the only thing I want to basically bring up there, no one, and I'm not trying to make it come across this way, no one is saying Klopp got it wrong for the result. The reason why people are frustrated, and like I said, I'll give my opinion in a second, and also leave me your opinions in the comments down below, but basically, people's biggest problem was an hour before the game when they saw the lineup and they saw Salah starting in that lineup, they saw Fabinho starting in that lineup, and also Trent starting in that lineup, and even myself, I looked at them three starting and a few others, but mainly them three, and I thought, are you sure? Are you sure that you want to be bringing on, like a Mo and a Trent and a Fabinho, players that you're probably going to need for the Fulham game, which, by the way, is a must-win? I understand why people were frustrated. Like I said, even I thought it was a bit of a... But I went with it and I was like, well, do you know what? I'm just going to assume that Klopp's got a plan of rotation. He's got a plan of bringing players on. But also, that being said, there is an argument to be had that Salah didn't need to play that game. Salah did not need to play that game. And I don't want to go too much into Klopp, because I love Klopp, and I don't want to say he got it wrong. But if I had to pick out just a few things that I felt was unnecessary, starting Salah was unnecessary, even though it ended up being a great occasion. He ended up beating the record for the most Champions League goals at Liverpool. On top of this, he actually got the goal that ended up getting us the point. And so many things showing that Salah was important yesterday, but it's not the point. We didn't need to win. The only thing more meaningless than that game yesterday can be a friendly. Other than that, it's just pointless for Liverpool. Not for Midtjylland, but for Liverpool. It's a much bigger game for Midtjylland, like I said. But why, Fabinho, you get him in the back for leadership, and I understand that. And even Trent to some extent, and again, made up that he could start as captain. But Nico could have played, and that would have been okay. And Nico never even came on. Fabinho played the least amount of minutes out of them three players that I've just listed. And when he went off, and Kumateo came on, it changed the game, and we looked much worse for it. But we didn't need to win the game. And I'm not bashing Klopp. This is just me giving my opinion, and then I'll make a conclusion on whether I think or not Klopp was wrong. I always have little faults with Klopp's lineups, and this is all I'm disclaiming now. I'm not saying he was wrong yet. I will let you know that in a brief second. But Fabinho comes off at half time, that's okay. I was happy about that. I was like, do you know what? 45 minutes, sound. The only time when I started having a problem was when I was seeing the Midtjylland players kicking Salah and pushing Salah and pushing Jota and all these other people. And even people mentioned Jota. I think it was okay to start players like a Naby and a Jota, because even though Jota's more of a first team player, he's still not in the first 11. He's been amazing since he's came in, but Klopp still sees, in my opinion, Firmino above Jota in the pecking order. So I understand that people was a little bit upset, but you know, he still wants to win the game, and I don't know why he done it. I don't know whether it was pride. I don't know whether he was going for a record of his amount of points in the Champions League group stage with Liverpool. I don't know. Either way, the only thing I can give to you is that Klopp wanted to win that game, and it was evident with some of the players he lined up. However, I only named them three because they're actually very crucial, and if anything happens to a Fabinho, if anything happens to a Trent, and if anything happens to a Salah, and it was evident before half-time, by the way, that these players were getting kicked and nicked and all of this, I thought then, right, Klopp, you have got to bring off Salah. You have got to probably even bring off Jota. What I didn't get was why he left Origi on for the full 90 minutes. I don't get why he brought on some of our better players. And Callum mentions it on his show yesterday on Coppish, and he basically said, why weren't players like Liam Miller being brought in? You know, players that could actually gain a lot from an experience like a Champions League game, and players that, you know, even though they've got that experience at the youth level, you know, first team appearance in the Champions League doesn't hurt. You know, you can get youth players into the Champions League squad. That's what UEFA allow you to do. And he would have been a very good addition into the game to see how he is, and it would have been a good game to see and truly understand who's our better young players. We could have even started a Jake Kane, we could have started all the players that was available. Nico Williams could have got another game before Trent comes back fully. You know, Kelleher, obviously he'll be out now because Alisson's coming back, but he had another good game. Why not just put the rest of the young players around them and see who the standouts are? That's what I thought. Again, not having a go, Klopp. But I've asked myself two questions, and I want to ask you all the same. Do I think Klopp got it wrong? And do I think he sounds like a bit of a hypocrite? Let me just explain what I mean by them two questions. So, do I think he got it wrong? Regarding the fact that we didn't need to get any result out of that game. In fact, no. Do you know what? I don't think Klopp got it wrong with the lineup because we come out of that game unscathed. No players did get injured, besides Shimakash, but I mean, a first team player, none of them did get injured. So for that, and you know, we never lost. So in that aspect, no, he never got it wrong. I don't think you can say he got it wrong, but you can be frustrated. But does he come across as a hypocrite? And I only ask this question because he's always talking about the 5 substitutions, which I absolutely agree with Jürgen with. I'm always on this channel advocating 5 substitutes, this, that. But when he finally gets the chance to go into a game where he doesn't need to start his best players, any of his best players being that, he goes and starts 3 of his most crucial players as well as a few other first teamers or there and there about first teamers. That's why I'm asking, do you think Klopp comes across as a bit of a hypocrite after them comments? If you ask me, I don't think you can really call him hypocritical. I think you've just got to understand there's a lot more of a bigger meaning to it. And I'm not trying to say like, you know, there was injuries that would have caused this. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying Klopp has got a certain way of the way he wants to work things, and whether that's right or wrong, it is what it is. I don't think Salah should have... the fact that Salah finished the whole game as well, by the way, is what I'm most fuming about. Or I'm there and thereabouts. Same with Trent. I didn't like the fact they played the full games. Like I said, positives to take out of both of their performances. Trent as captain, Salah getting the record goal. But they didn't need to play. We've got a massive game against Fulham on the weekend. Therefore, I understand the frustrations. And if people who don't, you know, watch Jürgen Klopp interviews and stuff like that call him a hypocrite, and I'm talking about neutrals, not Liverpool fans, but you can't really blame them. Just based off a one-off game, he's not a hypocrite overall, mate. Like, that would be ridiculous. But off this one-off thing, talking about resting players and stuff like that and not having the squad depth, and then you're bringing off Origi after, 50, 60 minutes when he never plays football. You need Salah every week. We need Salah every week. We need Trent every week. We need Fabinho every week, especially now. But we don't need Origi, but he's playing the full game. It's like we don't need a few other players, but they're playing the full game. That's my only confusion. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, because I'm really interested. This was not a video to go at Klopp. Listen, no one got injured and we never even lost, and I would have been upset if we lost to Midtjylland. Even if it was the kids who played, I wouldn't have been raging because of the circumstances, but I still would have been upset. I'm always upset when Liverpool lose, therefore I'm not going to be happy if we lose to a Midtjylland, regardless who plays. But if you start 11 youth players and we go ahead and lose, at least I then know, we're still top, we're still through to the round of 16 regardless. And I know for a fact throughout that whole 90 minutes and the hour before that no player is going to get injured. So I don't blame no one for their frustrations. I don't blame no one of who I watched on them fan channels. I don't blame no one who I seen on Twitter going at Klopp about the options. I understand the frustrations. But now we leave it there. And now we've got a big game against Fulham. And we're going into that unscathed, as well as players coming back, just like players like the Ox, other players as well. Even Virgil van Dijk is looking like he could be back by the end of January at this rate. It's mad, mate. It really is. That's not factual, by the way. That was a joke. But he is Iron Man, and it is possible. But like I said, these players are coming back. It was a mad game overall, but at least we are through to the round of 16, people. Come on, you Reds.